A real scandal is emerging involving the Democrat activist group that is called ActBlue. Now, the scandal was initially kicked off by James O'Keefe and his new group. They stumbled upon a very interesting fact in these campaign filings. And the campaign filings by ActBlue showed that there were ActBlue donors who appeared to be regular guys, and in fact are in all cases elderly people. But these elderly people were shown as making thousands of contributions each to ActBlue, sometimes multiple contributions on the same day. Now, this is on the face of it fishy, suspicious. And so James O'Keefe decided to do what conservatives often don't do. They'll say, oh, well, notice these anomalies in the filings. No, James O'Keefe goes, let me go drop in on some of these people and talk to them. And turns out that these people, by their own admission, did not make these contributions, certainly did not make this many. So it appears like ActBlue is cooking the books. It appears that there is all kinds of shenanigans going on. And as we'll see at multiple levels, campaign finance violations, violations of exploiting the elderly, violations on multiple counts. The identity theft, because they're pretending that this guy made the contribution, whereas in fact the contribution obviously came from somewhere else. Money laundering. So this is something that reveals the indications of rampant illegality. And you know something else that's interesting? Normally with election fraud, the left always screams, there's no there, oh, there's nothing, they love to say that. But interestingly, with this controversy, I've been scouring social media, the left is very silent. And they're very silent because they can see on video the interviews with the very people who are supposedly making these contributions, and they go, contributions? Well, I give once a month or I give now and then, but no, multiple contributions a day, $18,000. No, I don't have $18,000 to give. So this is the kind of thing that you're hearing from the horse's mouth, from the horses themselves who supposedly gave this money. Let's look at some examples. O'Keefe went to the home of Michael Jameson in Maryland, who supposedly contributed 3,000 times, totaling $32,000. When the guy he's asked, did you do this? He gets super mad. He starts screaming at James O'Keefe and screaming about Trump and basically says, stop effing with me. Now that's an odd response. If someone gave the money, they're like, well, of course I did. It's not illegal. What's the big deal? O'Keefe goes to the home of Cindy No, who apparently contributed 1,000 times to ActBlue. And she goes that she gave money once in a while. She says she's given to various charities, but when she was asked, did you give $18,000? She goes, no, I did not. O'Keefe goes to see Carolyn Lenz in Tucson. She supposedly gave 18,000 separate contributions in the past 7 years. Here's her reaction when she's asked. She goes, no, 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 no. So she didn't do it. Garland Riggs, who's 80 years old, supposedly made 31,000 contributions totaling $230,000. Again, on the face of it, preposterous. And when he was asked, he goes, absolutely not. There's no way that he could have given that amount. His wife even says, we don't even give $1,000 a year. And it goes on like this. Now, the cool thing is that other people picking up from James O'Keefe have started doing the same thing. Why? Because it's perfectly permitted to stop in on people and say, hey, did you give the money that this federal report claims that you actually gave? Here's Wisconsin resident Dale Wing, supposedly made 11,000 donations over 7 years. He goes, nah. Cindy Grossberg in Wisconsin says it doesn't sound accurate, that she made 4,000 donations. See, these are people on the left, so they probably made some contributions. They don't want to incriminate ActBlue. They don't want ActBlue to get into trouble, so it doesn't sound right. But the truth of it is, I bet if you looked at their bank accounts, you would see they did not make these contributions. And so the next step is just screaming for investigation, screaming for the House or the authorities to start looking into this. Penelope Harris of Southern California, some citizen journalists track her down, asked her about 1,800 donations totaling $13,000. She says, quote, this is Penelope Harms, that's her name. She goes, that doesn't sound right. Lori Bale, who supposedly made 500 contributions, She goes, I have never donated 7 times in one day, as the records seem to show. She goes, I donate $5 a month. So it's very obvious here that there is a huge racket going on. And when we think of campaign finance fraud, and election fraud, this is one piece of the picture that needs to be looked at. So ActBlue is dead silent about it. The left is dead silent about it. And that should tell us, our side, not just the investigative journalists on our side who are doing a really good job, but people who have real investigative authority on our side, that they need to get moving.